Good morning from Holland, Michigan, y'all. So it is bright and early in the morning. And I am here in Holland, Michigan. Ready to tell you why. I am... Good morning, whiskey dog. I am at VOLTA. So, yep, I needed my auto start fixed, and I decided to go straight to the source. But first, I needed to have proof of the problem. All right, y'all. So I'm about to go to VOLTA Systems in the morning to get my auto start fixed. So, as we all know, when you take your vehicle to the service center, whatever's wrong with it, whatever noise it's making, whatever will stop happening the second you get there. So I'm filming a video right now to show that the thing that's been happening with the auto start continues to happen. All right? So let's go over here and look at my state of charge. I'm going to call that a solid 89% state of charge. Okay, so I need to set the passive auto start. So there's a couple things that have to happen. First of all, you have to have at least a quarter tank of gas. Look, I just filled up. It's full. I filled up and then drove 3 miles. I can show you, but the tank, she is full. The hood has to be closed. Well, look, I filled it and then I drove. The hood is damn closed. Okay, I haven't opened the hood in I don't know how long, and it's closed. The emergency brake, the parking brake, has to be set. So I'm going to set that right now. Ready? Listen. She is set. All right. So then there are 2 ways you can set the auto start. There's a silver button with a red ring. You can push and hold for 5 seconds. Or you can push your lock button 3 times. So I'm just, for ease of use, I'm going to push my lock button 3 times. Ready? And then it beeps. That's how you know your auto set is set. That's how you know your auto start is set. Here's the thing. Do you hear what's happening behind me right now? My engine is on. Why the fuck is my engine on? My engine should not be on. Why? I'm at almost 90% state of charge. My engine should not be on. My engine should have waited until I was down to 20% to come on. But yet it's on. It just fired right up as soon as I said it. It's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to wait. And it's not waiting. So that's as close as you're going to get to seeing inside VOLTA. These people are very serious about their proprietary information. And I get it. Corporate espionage is real. I totally understand. There were non-disclosure agreements, all sorts of things. So no cameras inside. But I tell you what, the folks at VOLTA were awesome. So, yes, I met Jack Johnson, the general manager, and we had discussions about all kinds of things. And then Jason was the tech that was helping me out and gave me a tour of the facility. Now, you know, even if I wanted to tell y'all some sort of proprietary secret, I can tell you what it looked like to me, and that was there were people putting electronic things into metal boxes. One interesting fact, if you have a lithium Travato, and you look under the back end and there's that big black box, that's where the battery is. And I've always said that's a really stupid place for it because that's the lowest thing to the ground. And I have already bumped that thing on, you know, backing into spaces and I'm always like, oh my God, freaking out. Here's what VOLTA told me. So the box that VOLTA puts their batteries in it's a hard, heavy metal steel box. And then Winnebago put some like styrofoam type insulation and their own like crappier thin metal box around that. And then they mount that up under the back end of the Travato. So if you do crash that, I mean, don't go trying. But if you do bump it, even if you dent it a little bit, it's probably fine. If your battery still works, it's probably fine. Unless you rip the whole thing cattywampus or something like that. Because the outside box is not the box that the batteries are directly inside of. There's like a couple layers. So yeah, the guys at Volta, super nice. I was still working that day, so they gave me like a cubicle in their office and let me on their Wi-Fi, and I got to do work while they worked on my system. So they looked at my VIN, and I did my Winnebago Travato was built out in May of 2019, even though it's technically a 2020. But mine did not have they are upgrading the solar controller, and they are upgrading the alternator control module. And they're sending out letters to folks to like go to your dealer and do that. But now dealers are saying they're not going to do it, and it's kind of a mess. But while I was there, mine had not been upgraded, and so the kind folks at Volta went ahead and upgraded those two components for me, and then they got to work on the actual problem. They thought that it might be a problem with the auto start control module, which is in the center console, like down towards the floorboard where your little 3 cup holders are. They just have to pop that out and get in there. And so they hooked their laptop up and they updated the firmware on my auto start control module. Bingo bango came in. We're like, it's ready to go. It's all done. It's perfect. Fine. Great. Awesome. It was like an hour and a half. Done. So out I go to the Travato and I hop in and I'm like, okay, let's just, let's make sure. So of course I set the auto start to passive monitor mode. Engine started right up. And like Jason, the tech, was like, what? It didn't do that? Like the 2 times when I said it, I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it doesn't like me. I don't know. But all I know is when I set my auto start, the engine starts. So when we hooked the computer up to the auto charge module and we set the auto start and the engine started, the auto start module said engine started due to chassis battery. All right, so now we know why auto start was doing what it was doing. And then it got complicated. So like any good tech, right? Jason's like, I will figure this out. And God bless them. I mean, these guys, so they worked on this problem for 4 hours. Jason was out there. Jack went out there a couple times. They were on the phone to other techs. One of the engineers came out and was trying to help. So here's what was determined, okay? So the auto start, this is information for y'all. The auto start module monitors both your house battery and your chassis battery, right? And if your chassis battery gets below a certain voltage, the auto start will start the engine to charge up your chassis battery for you. Awesome, right? So you don't wake up in the morning unable to start the van. Now, the threshold at which the chassis battery is supposed to get to engage the auto start is 11.9 volts. Now, a chassis battery is an AGM battery, right? Which, it's supposed to, when the engine's running, it's up at like 14. When the engine's off, it should stay about 12.6, 12.7. So, of course, we hook up the meter to the battery and see what's going on. My chassis battery was having a draw on it that was bringing it down, sometimes as low as 12.1 volts. That's still not 11.9. But the theory is that it was close enough, low enough, and that any little fluctuation could make that auto start engage. So, one thing to be aware of, when you engage the auto start, whether you engage it via the fob or the button, it turns the van to accessory mode, right? It's the same thing whether you physically turn it to accessory mode and hit the button, or if you push the fob 3 times, it turns the van to accessory mode and then sets auto start and then turns the accessory mode off. So when my van is going into accessory mode, there's an immediate draw on the battery. The engine's not on, right? So it's still all up to the chassis battery to run all the things. So even when I turn off the stereo, like make sure that's off, make sure the AC's off, everything I can turn off, something's still drawn on that battery when I turn it to accessory mode. Now here's the thing. If I wait 60 to 90 seconds, whatever that draw is, stops. And then I can set the auto start. So, bottom line, there's something drawing on my battery. And the guys thought maybe I had a bad battery. I went to RAM. They hooked up the battery tester and it tested fine. So, if there's a bad battery, it would take more extensive testing to find it. If there's a bad ground somewhere, that could be a problem. But they're going to have to run all the electrical to find it. Is there, just a dirty connection that's causing interference so that the auto start module thinks the voltage is dropping? Possible. Again, you'd have to run all the electrical to figure it out. It's entirely possible that when I had the aftermarket head unit and or alarm system installed, that those are causing a problem. Now, I will tell you, like I said, I turn off the head unit, turn off the stereo entirely before I try to, go to accessory mode. So that's not on, the screen's not on or anything. If some other piece of it secretly is on, I don't know. The alarm system, that could be a thing. And I don't have a way of testing that. So that could be a problem. Bottom line is, we don't know what is causing the draw on the battery when you first go to accessory mode to pull enough voltage that the auto start starts, right? We don't know what's doing that. We do know that it stops after 60 to 90 seconds. So all I do now when I engage the auto start is I put the accessory mode on, and then I wait, and then I set the auto start. And I tried that a couple times, and battery got down to 20% state of charge on the house batteries. Boop! Auto start started, ran for an hour, charged up the batteries, operated as advertised. So that's what's going on with my auto start. Okay, so the question is my auto start fixed? Yes and no. If you fixed, you mean all problems have are now eliminated? No. But it was not a wasted trip to Holland, Michigan, because I got the solar controller and the alternator controller upgrades done. Don't have to worry about that. And we identified the problem, right? We now know why it's doing what it's doing. But we've identified the problem and I have the workaround. So at some point down the line, when I'm out of the van for some period of time, someone's going to have to run the electrical to figure out where the draw is coming from. The guys at VOLTA freaking fantastic. I tell you what, if you're having a problem with a lithium system on a Travato, just go talk to them. Bypass Winnebago if possible. Go talk to the guys at VOLTA. They're lovely. So shout out to VOLTA for helping me out. Again, they worked 4 hours on the problem after they pretty much determined that it wasn't their problem, that it was a battery electrical system problem. So God bless you guys. Thank you for your help. Everything else is working great. So I appreciate that. Okay, so now, as you can probably figure out behind me, I'm not in the van. I'm visiting friends. I gotta tell you, there's nothing wrong with getting out of your van for a few days or a week. Sometimes you need it. I have serious decision fatigue. We're coming up on 3 months in the van, right? A quarter of a year. Can you believe that? I would love your help figuring out where to go and what to see. That would be super helpful. So if you have any suggestions on the coastal central areas, I'll even go further west, whatever you got for North Carolina and South Carolina. I would love to hear it. Because one of the hardest things I'm finding is figuring out where do I want to go and what do I want to see. I feel like I'm missing stuff, right? And don't just tell me, oh, you got to go to Charleston. I know I got to go to Charleston. But what do I need to do and see when I get there? Any advice you got would be great. Can we avoid restaurants and food? I mean, if there's one place that you're like, you absolutely must go here and eat shrimp and grits, it will change your life, that's fine. But look, you know how they have the freshman 15 in college? The full-timer 15 is also the real thing. Okay, I've gained so much damn weight since I started on this walkabout. I can't even stand it. It's disgusting. It's horrible. Anyway, so I gotta lock it down. So unless it is the greatest food restaurant ever in the history of America, try to skip that. You know, just try to skip the food. But anything else, tours, bike trails, hike trails. I'm thinking about getting a bike. Whatever you got, touristy wise, even off the beaten path wise, that'd be awesome. So comments down below, or you can head over to the Facebook page. That's also a great place to put stuff. Appreciate your help. Appreciate you watching. If you're considering a lithium Travato, hope this is helpful, and I will see you on the road.